don't really see a need to wire the back branches. They're pretty much in place. So I'm going to spin them around. Try to keep them in the camera. And I'm going to begin working on this branch here. I think for me, getting this branch down and a little bit forward, of course not, it looks like I'm pulling it backward. That's because the back of the tree is not facing you. I think that's really going to give this tree a much nicer look, is having that branch come down and forward. Even if you may not actually save them, when you're wiring, you want to avoid any kind of little branching. Don't be crushing young branches, because you never know. You might need that branch for part of your design. Because bonsai is kind of a minimal kind of hobby where you want this least amount of branches to give you the impression that you're trying to get. You just never know when one of these smaller branches may be a necessary part of the design. So now bring it down. Forward. I also have another philosophy that if it doesn't get into place perfectly, you can always wire it again. Wiring is depending on how drastic the wiring is that you're doing. I'll turn it around again just to see that's where I want it. Okay, so there we are. Now it's almost too far out to even see. There we go. So that really sets it off nicely, having this branch move out more. And then it's plainly obvious that we have this gaping hole right here. So this branch is going to come into there to fill that space. And then I'm probably going to chop some of this off and let it grow back in. And I'm also going to cut off even more once the wiring is complete. So I need to move the tree a little closer. Once the wiring is complete, then I will remove more excess growth, because there's certainly some excess growth on here that needs to be removed. Silence. What do I talk about when I'm wiring? I don't know. And as usual, I use wire. If it's a little bit too long, I just leave it sticking out, because I'm a wire saver. Okay, now let's bring that guy into here. Boy, that wire is really long. Oh well. That guy into here, making sure it does not break. Where were we before my camera ran out of steam? Man, it's just so frustrating. I wired this branch into place, and then without even realizing that the camera had shut itself off, I wired this branch into place too. Now we have space here, and I want to wire this guy into right there. And that's just going to be a fairly small piece of wire. And I'm coming from the other side, so you're going to see my arm more than anything. The camera likes to shut itself off after a certain period of time, so that's what happened. So I apologize for that. Do not crush the little baby buds. That looks good. See, we have a lot of stuff coming up into here. We have stuff coming up into here that really needs to come off. There's a branch here that we can shorten right now. You see, we just don't need that. This guy is coming straight up into here. You know, in a crazy world, you could cut it to there and make that the new apex. Take you 10 more years to have a tree. So I'm going to shorten him tremendously. I'm going to get my regular cutters and shorten all this stuff tremendously. Cut off some of this other excess growth here. See, now we're starting to get some branch development. We're starting to get some pads. I'm also going to take all the little excess. Can you even see that? Are we in camera? On the camera? So the excess here, I'm going to cut him off. And we've got another branch right here. That's actually part of this guy. That could also come forward. I want this guy to be down more. And then this guy is going to come into that place right there. So, a little more wire. If my friend who liquidated her collection is watching the videos of some of the trees that I got from her, and this is one of them, I want to thank you. She wants to remain anonymous, so she shall remain anonymous. But she had some pretty nice trees, no doubt about that. So now, as you see my left arm, move him into position there. Hide the excess wire. And as you can see, what I'm trying to do is get the same kind of movement, same kind of movement, same kind of movement. That is what gives your trees the kind of continuity that makes them look like nice trees. got this little bit of excess growth right here, which I'm really not sure you even need. That would really give us the space between the branches. Now this branch here isn't ramified, but if I just continually pinch, we're looking at a silhouette. So this guy's out about as far as it's going to go. So then just promote this little stuff to fill in. And I've still got this branch here, which is a little odd. It comes from the curve here, but then it spins around this way, because if it came across this way, it would go right across the trunk. However, there is some reverse taper right here, so it's possible to bring this guy in like that and hide the reverse taper. So then you have to ask, is some leaves breaking the line of the trunk less or more annoying than the reverse taper? So but for now I'm just going to cut it like that. And there's still some of this stuff that's coming against the grain, so we're going to cut some of that. There's a lot of excess in here that we're going to cut. This too, this branch here is just way too high. I'm going to shorten it up. It may sprout, and then I can use it to fill in. You notice there's not much here. This guy could actually be used to fake the eyeball out into thinking it's coming from here. And sometimes just little tiny maintenance where you're just taking off little tiny pieces can change the look of the tree so much. And then we have the back branch, which I really haven't done much with. I'm going to take off all the excess, all this little stuff, all this little extra growth that's coming. Take off all of that. Because Elaeagnus is a plant, and this is, once again, know your material. Elaeagnus is a plant that if you left it grow, like if I left this little tiny guy grow for 6 months, it would be 2 feet long. Longer, maybe. So take off all of that. And then there's stuff here that needs to be shortened. For now, I'm just going to let the back branch be. Try to get spun around again. So how are we doing? Sometimes just taking 2 or 3 little leaves off can change the way a tree looks. Keep working on the tree and then coming back to the camera to see what it looks like in the viewfinder. And as usual, it's not even centered. But that's starting to come along. Now I'm getting a shadow, which just I don't like, but I don't know what else to do. And, when I look at the tree with my eyeballs, I don't see this giant gaping hole that you see when you look through the camera. But that can fill in, because we have this little guy here that can fill in there, and even some of this can probably fill in a little more. And obviously this is the apex, and so based on a silhouette, it may be that some of this over here needs to be shortened even more, so that your crown comes down like this. Maybe shorten this and shorten this guy. Oops. Reaching too much and I just didn't get. There we go. Of course it flies over there. So that's looking pretty good. Here's another little piece of new growth that needs to be shortened. That's looking pretty good. I really think that this is going to be a nice tree. I apologize so much for the shadow. I think what I'll do is I'll end this video after a couple hours when the sun has risen enough so the shadow isn't there, and then I'll just take a picture. So I'll end the video with a picture of this tree without the shadow behind. And also I think the camera's a little too close to really capture everything from one end to the other. Right, the one end's right here, you can even see the scissors, and the other end is right here. Anyway, that's an interesting transformation from the first time I saw it, you saw it. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch this tree develop even more, subscribe and hit the notification button, and every time I do some maintenance on this tree, I will make another video showing you what I've done, and so you can watch this tree develop along with me. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like and leave a comment, and in a few more months, I think, well, I'll just show you the progress of this tree. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And once again, we're going to end with a picture of the tree without the annoying shadow in the back.